I'm gonna give you guys tips to set up yourself with a new routine, how to maintain that new routine, and then how to break it down into your entire schedule, whether your schedule's super busy or not. We are gonna make space so that you can become the best version of yourself. Hello everybody and welcome back to my channel. If this is the first time you're seeing my face, hi, welcome. My name is Katrina and my channel is all about how to glow up, becoming your best self, and just growing into the woman or man of your dreams. So without further ado, let's get started on this week's topic, which is how to build the best routines for yourself going into your winter arc and starting out 2025 strong. Okay, step one, finding space in your schedule to actually expand and build out your routines. So I'm gonna give you an exercise. I want you to create a digital calendar, either on your iPhone, on Google Calendar, whatever works for you. And you're gonna color code it 3 different ways with red, yellow, and green, okay? You can kind of see where I'm going with this, but just pretend with me, okay? So red is the stuff that you cannot move come hell or high water. So that would be your job. If you need to take your kids to a certain doctor's appointment and you have to be there the entire time while they're getting a treatment, those are the things you can never move. It's not really up to you because they're required for your lifestyle. Then there are things that are yellow. I know some people would say that red should be your sleep schedule. Your sleep schedule should be yellow, okay? Because you can move your sleep schedule. If you can pick up your kids earlier or later, that should be yellow. If you're going to the gym at a certain time, that should be yellow. Those are things that you can move. Unless it's a locked in class and they only teach that class once a day, then it should be yellow because it can be moved. It wouldn't behoove you to move it. You're not excited to move it, but you could move it if you really, really need to, right? Like if there was an emergency. Then there are things that are on your schedule that are gonna be green. Those are the things that you enjoy doing, that you have spaced out for you, and are very easy for you to move. Now that you've blocked out your calendar like that, you're going to look and see where there are empty spaces. If there are no empty spaces, we're gonna come back to you in a second. But for those of you who have empty spaces, let's talk about what you're gonna fill it with, which brings us to step 2, figuring out which habits and routines you want to put into your schedule. So I like to break this out for my clients in a very simple way. Oh yeah, I'm also a life coach. I should have mentioned that in the beginning. But I tell my clients that they should base their goals upon the areas or dimensions of wellness. So I'm gonna read those out for you guys, and you can kind of think in your head on a scale of 1 to 10, which of these is something you wanna improve upon in your life when you're creating these goals for your winter arc. First is spiritual wellness. So that can also be your religious wellness, like showing up to church, whatever that may be. Second is social wellness. Do you feel like you're connected to the people in your life? Do you feel like you should do better with connecting with them, that you need to make more time for them? Next is intellectual wellness. Are you challenging yourself mentally? When we're not challenging ourselves mentally, it's really hard to feel like we're being our best selves because we aren't challenged. And even if you say you don't like to be challenged, it's always a time in your life where you're like, oh, I could use a little something else, a little zest, you know? Next is physical wellness, which is pretty obvious. Like, are you eating healthy? Are you working out healthily? Are you moving your body and feeding it the nutrients that it needs? Next is emotional wellness, which is so important. And I love that now society is really diving into emotional wellness. Are you making sure that you are taking care of your mental and emotional state? Do you feel like you are showing up for yourself and that your emotions are being processed in a healthy way? Next is environmental wellness. And this is about not just your environment, like the grass and the trees, but just like your environment as a whole. Do you feel like you're in a healthy or in a toxic environment? That one will get a couple people, okay? Of course, financial wellness. We care that our finances are in a healthy place so that we can pay for the things we need and be there and be there for our loved ones, whatever the case may be. And then occupational wellness. Do you feel fulfilled in the work that you're doing? This can also be called vocational wellness. So does your job fulfill you? And if not, what steps do you think you should start taking or could start taking to realign your job so that you can, be a little more fulfilled in that? So those are the 8 dimensions of wellness. Like I said, I'll list them out on the screen as well, but I want you guys to rate them from 1 to 10. 10 being like you feel super fulfilled in this area of wellness, and 1 being I don't even have this in my life, okay? So now that you have those listed out from 1 to 10 and you have your schedule, you can see where your spaces are. Next step is I want you to start building out 3 to 4 goals under each one. And it's a lot, that's a lot, okay? Focus really, probably build out 3 or 4 on the ones that are section under 5 on your areas of wellness. And then the ones that are 5 and above, you can maybe do like 1 or 2 goals. And these could be goals you're maintaining as well as new goals. So I would say on average, I have about 2 to 3 goals under each of these. So like for emotional wellness, making sure that I'm meditating, which also kind of falls under spiritual. And this can happen, right? You could have some goals that fall under your mental wellness as well as emotional wellness, because going to the gym like clears your mind, right? So start thinking through those. What goals would you like to have for yourself, and which habits would you like to build for yourselves that fall under each area of wellness? And they can be really big or they can be very small. We're gonna get to that in a second, okay? So now that you've written those goals down, I want you to ask yourself if those are SMART goals. So SMART is specific, measurable, attainable, what is R? Relevant and time bound. Okay. Are those goals SMART goals? And if they're not, I want you to take those same goals and go line for line, just put a little arrow on your paper, whatever you're writing on, and go ahead and make sure that you write a full sentence out. That's a SMART goal. So for instance, let's say that your goal is to work out more. Don't just write out, I'm gonna work out more. My goal is to work out at Planet Fitness 3 times a week for 45 minutes. That's it. That's the whole statement. That is specific, that is measurable, it's attainable, potentially. We're gonna check your schedule in a second. It's relevant to the goal, and it's time bound, because we said how many times per week that you're going to attempt to do it, okay? Now that that's set up, we now need to go back to our calendar, which brings us to step 4. We are going to ignore the red. The red is blocked out, that's fine. But now that we have SMART goals for you guys, how do we turn those SMART goals into habits? As we did with that last example, working out at Planet Fitness 3 times a week for 45 minutes, now we look at that calendar, ignoring the orange, ignoring the yellow. Where can we start to fit that in? Let's say that your entire day is full of red from 7 a.m. to 5 p.m. because you have to work and you have to commute. Now, this goal in particular is not something you could stack onto your commute, and you can't stack it at work unless you can maybe walk during your lunch break or put a walking pad, in your office, or go to Planet Fitness while you're at work. If you can, great, okay? For those who can't, now it's time to look at those yellows. If you have something yellow from 5 to 8, does it really need to be yellow that entire time? Is this something you can move? Is this something that is outweighed by the other goal that you're trying to set? If it's something else that's more important, let's say you're going to therapy. Let's say you're going to therapy at 6 o'clock, and that's why that's in the yellow, because you technically could move it, but right now you don't want to. Okay, cool, that's fine. But let's say from 7 to 8, you're like, this is like my TV time. You could watch TV while walking on the treadmill at Planet Fitness. So let's go ahead and stack those on top of each other. Habit stacking is a great way to just kind of, when you're implementing new things into your life, it's very hard to just dive into like 20 things at once. So how can we add them to habits that you already have set up in your life? If you always watch TV for an hour after work, that's completely fine. That is absolutely fine. Nothing wrong with that. But if it's something that you watch on Netflix, on Hulu, on anything you can put on an iPad or on your cell phone, then you can watch that while you're at the gym and make sure you're checking off that goal, and you're only doing it 3 times a week. It's not every day. The other days you can sit on your couch and watch the TV. But in the meantime, there are a couple shows you could probably watch on demand, like Love is Blind. I don't know. I don't watch that, but I've heard it's very popular. Okay. The next thing you're going to do, if you cannot stack it, you're going to start finding those spaces. And then if those spaces do not exist, it's time to call a friend. I think we're on step 5. This is the step that a lot of people don't like to do because we don't like to ask for help. It's very difficult, especially for women, and especially for women of color. We like to be super women. That is not necessarily the case at all times. Even superheroes have that little tech person in the background helping them out. And you have to figure out who your tech person in the background is gonna be, whether they are free or paid. Whether that means you need a babysitter to be your tech person, or it could be your little kid sister that can babysit for free, or babysit for $20. Or be your accountability partner and come to the gym with you, okay? There are so many ways, but it really is difficult to achieve all your goals as an island by yourself. So if you're looking at your calendar, you see something's marked in yellow. Let's say it's taking the dog for a walk, but you have a friend nearby that could take the dog for a walk with her dog. And in that same amount of time, you could go for a run, you could read a book, you could I don't know, write a novel, whatever is on your list of those areas of wellness. See what you can fit into the yellow, what you can stack on top. So let's say you have a goal to read more books. You can listen to audiobooks while you're driving to work or while you're exercising in the gym, right? But then there are gonna be other goals, like if you wanna start painting or trading stocks. Yeah, you can't do that while you're doing anything else. But there are things you can honestly move in your schedule. We have so many hours in a day that we don't actually use for anything, and we don't realize we're not using them. So once we start using our time more intentionally, that's really all we're trying to do here. You don't need to change your entire life from start to finish. My goal is just for you to see the gaps and be able to fill them with something that brings you purpose or joy. And that way you can get closer to your ideal self, to your dreams, in a shorter amount of time. Okay, so last 3 things I'm just gonna go through really quickly because we're gonna have separate videos for evening and morning routines. Another little bonus tip is to sandwich the new things in your routine in between things that are already preset into your life. So let's say you're trying to add a new step in your skincare routine. Try to make sure it's something that you don't have to add to the end or the beginning, and something that you can just sandwich in between prehistoric habits that you already have. Like, some of us do things so consistently that we don't even realize we're doing it. But if we can attach habit stacking, once again, if we can attach a new habit and a new goal onto something that's pre-existing, it's a lot easier to carry it through. Let's say that you don't take vitamins right now, but now you know every time before you brush your teeth, you need to take vitamins. That's easy because you're gonna brush your teeth every day. Please, I hope you're brushing your teeth every day. If you're not, add that to your list. That should be under your physical wellness goals, okay? But yeah, brushing your teeth every day, put something at the beginning or at the end of that. And if you can't, you feel like that's too difficult, sandwich it in between 2 things. Sandwiching is one of the best ways for you to make sure that you can start new things without losing a bit of yourself, and it's easier to fit something in on a pre-established setting, okay? Then my last 2 tips, one for morning and one for evening routine. For my morning routine, people, if you do not already wake up early, inspire yourself to wake up early with consequences, okay? Consequences will help you every single time. If you are not waking up early, it's probably because you don't have a good enough reason to wake up early. Because I promise you, if your boss said, I'm gonna pay you $300,000 a year, but you need to be here at 6 a.m., you'd be there at 6 o'clock in the morning. So you don't have a discipline problem. A lot of people think they have a discipline problem. They don't. You really don't. You just need a good enough reason in your mental state to be like, okay, I need to go to this. So in the morning, if you're trying to get up earlier, either have an accountability partner, have like a loss of funds if something goes wrong, like you miss a class, but just make sure that there's a way for you to be accountable to yourself outside of just, oh, I wanted to do this, but I could do it tomorrow. There needs to be accountability. As for your evening routines, make sure you do all the difficult stuff as early as possible and set up your evening routines to be something that's enjoyable, relaxing, and luxurious for you. This should be your time to have like a little spa treatment, whether that's a mental spa treatment, a physical spa treatment, whatever it is, but this should be something that allows you to come into like a very relaxed state at the end. This is not the time to be doing your super hard habits. The ones that you're like, dang, I need to habit stack this because I'm not gonna do it on my own. Those are the things you try to do earlier in the day. I don't care if those need to be your lunchtime routines, your morning routines, your afternoon routines, but they probably shouldn't be your evening routines until it's something that's really worth it to you to start doing. Otherwise, it's gonna be extremely difficult, okay? So I hope that helped you guys out with building out your routines. There are more videos to come this month. We're gonna do morning routines, evening routines. I want you guys to have the best winter arc possible, and that way we can all start 2025 on a super high because we are already a third of the way through our goals because we built the habits that are gonna change us forever, okay? So with that being said, I'm gonna let you guys get started on your goals. Hope you guys took some amazing notes. Feel free to rewatch this video. And if you need a little bit more structure, check out my Becoming You workbook that is mentioned in the notes. And you guys will have all the structure you need to deal with your past, figure out your present, and make a promise to your future self to help you achieve all your goals. And I will see you guys next week. Bye.